Today, we're looking at Diamine's Pumpkin. Hi, I'm Adam, and I'm an ink guy. I get inks, test them, and share the results with you. Now, Diamine's Pumpkin is an orange ink. To make sure I have a range of experience with this ink, I do the writing samples. I put the ink into a different pen for a day. I then put it into a Fountain Pen Revolutions Himalaya with their flex nib to take my notes for this video. Now, before we get to the writing samples, let's look at the sciencey bits. Up first is the chromatography, and I agree with Vita that I've learned a lot by doing multiple chromatographies. The one on the left is done the way it's supposed to be done. I put a line of ink down and immediately put it into water for 10 to 15 seconds. And we can see why this is such a beautiful orange. Look at how there's pink that's pushing its way up. Then we start to see some reds and oranges and a lot of yellow across the top. The one on the right, I let dry for 10 minutes before I dunk it into water. And the only thing I'm really seeing is where some of that red is, where the orange is also between the pink and the yellow. I see more of the orange. It's a little more stand out right there. But that's a negligible thing, as in I could do 1,000 of these and it might be slightly different each time in the amount of orange that shows. It's just nice that more of it showed there. Otherwise, there was no difference between these two in their chromatography. Resistance tests are done to see how this ink can be expected to perform on a page, and more importantly, how hard it might be to clean from your pen. Now, I let the smear dry for 3 days before testing it. Looking at the highlighter, it performed very well. That extra fine became just about a medium nib, but it is very readable. It didn't bloom out all over the place and become disgusting to read, making me feel safe using this as a note taker. And it is one of my favorite additional inks to use when note taking. Surprisingly, water didn't completely remove this from the paper. I was really expecting water to do it, and it didn't. It only completely lightened the ink that was there. It doesn't look like it lifted much of any of it, just lightened it in place. Now, pen flush is completely reactivating and lifting it off the paper. We see through the center, we can just see the beginnings of the white of the paper coming through with only 30 seconds, which does make me feel safe saying pen flush is all that you would need to get this out of your pen. Now, because I do go through my pens quite a bit, and it doesn't tend to spend days and days in my pen, I've actually never needed more than water, personally, but I do tend to write a pen out of ink in a day. Bleach, as is normal, completely obliterates it, but there is no need to use a 1/3 bleach solution to get this out of your pen. For the inks I've tested, I've found an average viscosity of 2.5. with the realm of normal being from 2.1 to 2.9. Diamine's Pumpkin has a viscosity of 2.31, making it normal. To find my average dry times, I use my writing samples done on Clairefontaine, Tomoe River, and Rhodia paper with the extra fine and medium nib. For the inks I've tested, I've found an average dry time of 17 seconds, with the realm of normal being from 13 to 21 seconds. Diamine's Pumpkin has an average dry time of 15 seconds, making it normal. But the normal viscosity and the normal dry time show up at right about the same point in both of these bell curves, which is always an interesting point to me when inks do that. Now, let's look at the writing samples. I picked this ink up in sample form, and I feel like this is one that is going to lead to a bottle. It's that good. To keep my writing samples consistent, I use a Jinhao 159 with a Goulet 1.1 stub, a Jinhao X450 with a Goulet medium, and a Jinhao X750 with a Goulet extra fine. Let's take a look at the Clairefontaine. No bleeding, no ghosting. Look at the, this is one of those just, it's the color, it's the vibrancy, the look at this. It is amazing to see, amazing to look at.
It makes you feel good looking at it, and it makes you feel energetic looking at it. Great. The 1.1 has no feather, spread, halo, sheen, no shade, just a beautiful, vibrant orange. The extra fine has the exact same tone with no feather, spread, halo, sheen, no shade, 10 seconds to dry. The medium gives the exact same tone with no feather, spread, halo, sheen, or shade, 14 seconds to dry. The scrubby of the extra fine and the medium show no color variation. We didn't expect it, we didn't get it, and we don't need it with this. The smear test you could recover if you smeared while you were writing. Tomoe River. No bleeding. We do get some ghosting. The 1.1 has no feather, spread, halo, sheen, no shade. The extra fine gives the exact same tone as the 1.1. It has no feather, spread, halo, sheen, no shade, 17 seconds to dry. The medium has no feather, spread, halo, sheen, or shade. It's the exact same tone as the extra fine, with 22 seconds to dry. The scrubby for both show us no color variation. We don't need it here. We didn't get it here. The smear test, you could recover this if you smeared while you were writing. Rhodia. No bleeding, no ghosting. The 1.1 has no feather, spread, halo, sheen, no shade. The extra fine has the exact same tone as the 1.1 with no feather, spread, halo, sheen, no shade, 12 seconds to dry. The medium is the exact same tone as the extra fine and the 1.1 with no feather, spread, halo, sheen, no shade, 15 seconds to dry. The scrubby for both show no color variation, and we didn't get it, we didn't need it. The smear test you could definitely recover if you smeared while you were writing. Yellow Rhodia. No bleeding, no ghosting. I want to take a second. We'll throw the white lines that's coming up, and we'll throw the Strathmore writing. We'll take a second and talk about the tones of this ink. Look at that. It is the exact same tone. No matter what paper it's on, this ink is saturated. It is beautiful. It is boring in the most beautiful way. It is consistent. While I love a great shading ink, a great color trumps everything. None of the other properties matter when a color is this beautiful. It is so insanely consistent. It doesn't matter. Gray, cream, white, doesn't matter. Same exact tones all the way through. Just gorgeous. The 1.1 has no feather, spread, halo, sheen, or shade. The extra fine is the exact same tone with no feather, spread, halo, sheen, no shade, 12 seconds to dry. The medium is the exact same tone as the extra fine. It has no feather, spread, halo, sheen, no shade. It is just gorgeous with 15 seconds to dry. The scrubby for the extra fine and the medium show us no color variation. We didn't expect it. We didn't get it. We didn't need it because it is that good. And the smear test, you could definitely recover this if you smeared while you were writing. White lines paper. And this has been an iffy paper to deal with. Sometimes it does well, sometimes it does not. Here we have some spots that are bleeding a little bit. They do not bleed through. They don't make the back of the page unusable. They do not touch the next page, but there is quite a fair amount of halo. That's user preference whether you can do it. Or halo, ghosting. The 1.1 is no feather, spread, halo, sheen, no shade. Sometimes with these faster drying papers, they get dull as a tone. And this stays very vibrant, very pretty to look at, very nice. I need this bottle of ink. I need this in my life. I'm going to go ahead and write myself that note. Get Diamine Pumpkin bottle, because I need this in my life. Look at how that looks on yellow. It is gorgeous. Now this is some crappy paper. If we were to just take the second look at this Post-it, regular old Post-it, yes, it has bleed. No, it doesn't touch the page underneath. Yes, it feathers. That note's going to last all of about 2 or 3 more minutes because I am ordering this ink when I get done filming this. This is gorgeous, and I need the big bottle because I need to abuse using this ink to where people are like, stop with that orange already. All right, white lines. The 1.1 has no feather, spread, halo sheen, no shade. It's gorgeous. The extra fine is the exact same tone as the 1.1 with no feather, spread, halo, sheen, no shade. 1 second to dry. Instant drying. Sort of. The medium is the exact same tone as the extra fine and the 1.1. It has no feather, spread, halo, sheen, no shade, 2 seconds to dry. The scrubby for both shows no color variation. We don't need it when it looks this good. It's like the Zoolanders of ink. It is just really, really, really good looking. It doesn't know that there's anything in the world to do other than be so good looking. The smear test, you could recover this if you smeared while you were writing. Strathmore calligraphy paper. It has no bleeding, no ghosting. The 1.1 gives a gorgeous orange with no feather, spread, halo sheen, no shade. The extra fine gives the exact same tone that we got with the 1.1 with no feather, spread, halo sheen or shade. It only took 4 seconds to dry. And the medium, the exact same tone with no feather, spread, halo, sheen, no shade, 7 seconds to dry. The scrubby of the extra fine and the medium show no color variation. We didn't need it because it's that good looking and it wasn't there. The smear test, you could definitely recover this if you smeared while you were writing. And that's all that I have for the writing sample. I need to go buy this ink.
Instead of finding inks that look like Diamine's Pumpkin, I would prefer to find an ink that complements its color on the page. Now, I did think brown at first, but then this is such a beautiful orange. I didn't want it to share that palette, so I went with a great black. I went with Noodler's Bulletproof Black, just to not detract anything from this orange. Before I give my opinion on this ink, I would ask, if you've enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. And if it's your first time here, I would invite you to subscribe. So what do I think of Diamine's Pumpkin? Despite its lack of a bunch of qualities in its writing, its beautiful, vibrant orange tones have made it one of my favorite inks. And in fact, while there's a time gap between when I do my testing, when I do my writing samples, and when I'm filming the talky part of the video, in the time between, I've purchased a bottle of that ink, and I've already gone through about 6 pens worth, because this very quickly became one of my favorite orange inks to use. Thanks for watching.